Geneive Metzger, based in New York, is the Consul General for Jamaica, a very dynamic lady who's been involved in developing the Jamaican diaspora in North America for many years and has been extremely successful. I talked to her in New York recently. Okay, good. So first question would be, how important to Jamaica is its diaspora, and how do you go about engaging them and getting them involved in Jamaica?
Well, the diaspora is critically important to Jamaica in a variety of ways. In fact, curiously enough, we are having our 4th Diaspora Conference this year, June. And obviously, we all know about the remittances. Where Jamaica is concerned, I think it's some $2 billion a year of remittances that we repatriate to Jamaica. But beyond that, they're very critically important to economic development. There is not as much as we'd like to see. A significant amount of investment from the diaspora in Jamaica. They also affect public opinion. The diaspora affects public opinion in terms of the image of Jamaica abroad. Certainly the way we behave in the United States and wherever else we're domiciled outside of our home country affects the image of the country. We also have an impact on policies and politics. We influence our families and relatives and friends that we leave back home in terms of their opinions on political policy and social and economic policy. So it's very important all the way around. With regard to how we engage them, that's a very, what I would say, creative exercise. What I've tried to do, first of all, is to use technology to drive that. We are developing a significant, robust mailing list of Jamaicans in the diaspora, and I'm even attempting to put profiles to those names so that hopefully one day we'll be able, as a government, to draw on the expertise and the skills of those in a variety of sectors. We also have a number of meet and greets, grassroots outreach on a regular basis, where we're out there in churches, and literally we do walkabouts, where we literally just walk down the street, go into storefronts and say hello to people. We try to connect with our students. Caribbean Students Associations are very prolific on campuses, and many of them are headed by Jamaican and populated primarily by Jamaican students. So I personally am very interested in getting young people involved, so we do a lot of outreach there. And of course we have the typical holidays that we celebrate, independence initiatives, around which a lot of Jamaicans come together for a variety of events during independence, and of course our national holidays such as Heroes. And we have a robust cultural program as well, and we bring people into the consulate quite a bit for a variety of events, where we have keynote speakers and cultural programs and so forth.
So the engagement has been increasing, and if you look 5–10 years into the future, how do you see it developing?
Well, it has to increase. First of all, the technology is demanding that we really do a better job in connecting with our people. Our community is demanding it. I'm very heartened by the fact that in my parents' time, we'd come, they'd come and sit here for 20–30 years and not really even come to the consulate. Jamaicans in the diaspora are now demanding. They're in here. All events that are sold out. They want to be involved in the national agenda, and the government wants them to be involved in the national agenda, hence the Diaspora Conference.
What do you think you can learn from other countries, or can that be helpful to you?
So much. I mean, I believe in best practices, and there's no new idea under the sun. And so what I've endeavored to do is that I've developed a series called the Critical Conversation Series, from immigrant group to diaspora movement. I think that's the title. And I had the Consul General for India, for China, for Ireland, Dominican Republic here, talking about their experiences in the diaspora. Israel, talking about their experiences in the diaspora and learning from them. And it was interesting how many things we have in common, and therefore how much we can learn from each other.
What about the next generation of Jamaicans here? Do they have an affinity to Jamaica? Is that increasing, decreasing? How can you harness that?
Very important question, because we are aging. And my kids who were born in the United States have a right to a Jamaican citizenship. So one of the things I'm driving is that whole idea of getting citizenship for your American-born child. And it's amazing how interested they are. I am initiating at the moment a program with the City University of New York, a study abroad program, which I hope will entice a lot of Caribbean and of course Jamaican students to go back home and to really begin to develop that affinity for their homeland, as young people. And then that will grow as they age. They'll bring their families there and so forth, and hopefully that will in turn redound to that ongoing lifetime support for the country.
And the role of culture in all of this?
Very important. I mean, you can't talk about Jamaica unless, in two ways in terms of branding, sea and sand and culture. I think we need to do more. We can do more, and I think the government recognizes that we'll be doing more in terms of this concept of the cultural economy. Really driving that brand in a variety of sectors, not only in tourism, but in business, in economic development, in sport, in a number of areas. So I think that's the future.
So, generally very optimistic about the potential?
Very optimistic. The notion has swung away from complaining and opining that there's a brain drain. That's a reality. People are living outside of the country of their birth. The challenge now is how you can repatriate those skills on a short-term basis. We're not saying to everybody, move back home. It's probably unrealistic. But if you're going to live in England, if you're going to live in North America, how can you give back? So finding those strategic opportunities for professionals and others to give back in a very organized, systematic way. That's the future.